Hello, and welcome to part 1 in my video series in which we're going to take the XR2 Ravenstar from here on Earth and land it on the Mars base Olympus. I'm pretty excited about this video. There's a lot of moving parts that are involved in getting to Mars and quite a bit that can go wrong, and it's just a really interesting flight. But before we get started, I just want to go over a couple things. First off, this video is not a tutorial. I will be thinking out loud as I'm going along, but if you're not familiar with TransX and Orbiter in general, it's going to be pretty confusing. The intention of pretty much all the videos that I make is that you can see someone fly an orbiter, a mission from start to finish without any breaks or cuts or anything like that. And I know that when I've seen videos like that, that's been the most helpful for me. There's usually one minor detail that I might have missed, and I just think that it's very helpful. Should also probably make a note of saying that I'm definitely not an expert in orbiter, and you don't have to. You don't have to be an expert to get to do cool things like fly to Mars or land on the moon. And I will make mistakes, and that's part of the fun, is learning from your mistakes and saying like, hey, you know, maybe I botched this, but how can we still land this mission successfully? So anyways, with that out of the way, let's get started. So I have the date set for today's date. It's Tuesday, October 4th, 2022, and we're just going to assume that we started here. How can we get to Mars? Have TransX pulled up on both sides, and in fact, let's go ahead and get a bigger screen there. So first thing I'll do is get graph projection to plan. Then we'll go to there we go, select target, and go to escape. And then we're going forward and select target Mars. So basically all that means is escape is escaping the Earth's gravitational pull. And then after that you can choose where to go after you have escape. Anyway, so we have Mars selected there. And we'll once again change graph projection to plan on our stage 2 there, and then go to the eject plan. So in the newer version of TransX, we have this auto min function. I set prograde to that, so now all I have to do, that'll automatically give me my minimum prograde to get to my target, which is Mars, and I just have to change the date. It's super handy. So there we go. So it's going to be, Mars launch windows are few and far between, so I'm going to go to rough here for eject date and just go ahead and watch that closest approach until it gets as low as possible, and see if we can find a decent launch window. It's 18. So looks like the lowest we can get for this pass is 16 gigameters, which is still really far off. So I'm gonna have to go another pass, find the next window, and usually gets closer and closer every time around. So we'll see that number swing up. Now it's swinging back down. And I said 16, so they're already closer here. Yeah. Okay, I think. Get that as low as I can get it. It's pretty close, so let's just fine tune that a little bit with our other variables. Maybe. Fine. It's not really doing anything. How about change plane? That seems to be working. We'll go back and mess with that a little bit. Okay, we're hitting Mars. That looks good to me. Cool, so that's the first step. Let's go back to stage 1. We'll set our Periopsis Distance. So we want that to be about 200 kilometers, because that's what my orbit will be above Earth, right? So we have our major radius here is 6.371 megameters. We'll add, so 200 kilometers will be this 3 right here, so we'll make it 6.5. So go to enter. So that would be 6571 with 3 zeros. Cool, now we're at 200 kilometers there. And then next, eject orientation. But before we do eject orientation, let's go back here. So we had our eject date is 61,343. Today's date is 59,856. It's a big jump, so I'm going to go ahead and open up Scenario Editor and change the date to the day before. So 61,342, and we'll just call it that. Okay, so now it was 2022. We've jumped ahead 4 years. So we can find a better launch window to Mars. 2026 now. And closest approach has gone off a little bit. Sorry, I just got a text. Get that number a little bit lower. Okay, other way. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up on this side because it's just how my brain works. I like to be able to see both of them. What do I do? Oh, outward. Yeah, there we go. Boom. That's fine. Okay, we'll go back. So, got that figured out. And then, before we start the eject orientation course, let's take care of some housekeeping, so to speak. So, we see here on the right, MFD, it says total, or time of flight is 286 days. Right now, I have enough oxygen for 14 days, so we need more oxygen. We also need a lot more fuel. So we can do that with the XR2. We can go up to Payload Camera View. You don't have to open the bay doors, and it's nighttime right now, so I'm not going to. But, you know, for realism purposes, if you want to, you can turn on APU and open the bay doors here. But anyways, we'll just go to Payload Editor. Let's do XR2 Payload Main Fuel. Put that in Bay 2. And then LOX, Liquid Oxygen, in Bay 3. Cool, so now if we go down here, we can see that we have these, and this is just our crew habitat model, which, or module, which we'll leave because, you know, we're going to be in the ship for almost 300 days. So now, if we go down, we have enough oxygen for 420 days of flight. That's a lot more than we need. What did I say? 286. So let's bleed off some of that to save weight, which will help with fuel efficiency.
Warning, LOX done.
We want some extra because we'll spend some time orbiting the planet to get in line with the base and doing aerobraking and all that. So I'll probably go for this 320. It's probably more than enough, but I just like to be safe.
Warning, locks done. Warning, locks
okay.
done.
Well, 316 should be fine. No, I didn't turn off when I first clicked it, but we'll be alright. Okay, so now let's get back to the eject orientation. So here we're just going to line up that. Oh, actually, first, did I already do this? I did. Okay, great. Just make sure that graph projection is on plan, because otherwise lining up the green circle with the white line just won't work. But that's what we're doing here. We're getting them so they touch just like that. Okay. So right now, if I took off, I would have to have a heading of 9 degrees to be in line with Mars. It's pretty inefficient, so we're not going to do that. But you can see that number is climbing. So basically just going to warp ahead time and try to get that as close to 90 as possible, and then when we get there, we'll take off. So just turn on time warp, and you have to make sure that you keep that line, that plane line, over your position there. And you see it's going up, 50, 60, 70, 80. Oh, okay, let's slow down a little bit. When it gets closer, it gets really touchy. 87. Just making sure. Sometimes that number will go, it won't get all the way to 90 and it will start dropping. And sometimes it'll go over. So we're just keeping a sharp eye on that. I think when I get to, yeah, this is a pretty, well, maybe we'll go a little more than 4. A little closer. Okay, I'm gonna stop this first video here. Since the next thing we're going to do is take off and get to orbit, and I feel like that's a good place for its own separate video. So thanks for watching, and I will see you when it's time to take off.